welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Television, with your host Lili Hüseynli with most important events of the day. President İlham Aliyev signed an executive order on the measures in respect to the construction of Muğan, Birinci Paşalı, İkinci Paşalı, Şorbaçı, Birinci Udullu, Tağılı, İkinci Udullu, Qapalı Highway of Hacıqabul region. According to the executive order, 5 million monads from the reserve fund of the President, envisaged in 2021 state budget, is allocated to Azərbaycan Avtomobil Yolları State Agency for the construction of this highway, connecting 8 residential settlements with 12,000 inhabitants. President İlham Aliyev also signed an executive order on the measures in respect to the construction of a new secondary school building in Hacıqabul city. According to the executive order, 1.5 million monads from the reserve fund of the President, envisaged in 2021 state budget, is allocated to the Ministry of Education for the construction of a new secondary school building with a capacity of 432 pupils in Hacıqabul city. Armenian fascism is the ugliest and most brutal of all those that existed in all the countries. In this war, we not only restored our territorial integrity, but also destroyed Armenian fascism. In an interview with Azərbaycan Television, President İlham Aliyev said that the elimination of Armenian fascism is a historic mission completed not only for the Azerbaijani people, but also for the whole world.
Thanks to the historic victory in the Great Patriotic War, Azerbaijan implements security measures in Karabakh at the highest level. Official Baku is determined to continue its principal policy to ensure national interests, even though Armenia, violating the terms of the November 10th agreement, made absurd demands. During his visit to Hacıqabul, President İlham Aliyev, touching upon the provocative statements of the Armenian side and the existing hysteria in the country, reiterated that Armenia's violation of the terms of the tripartite agreement as well as any revanchist steps will receive an immediate response. If certain revengeful forces raise their head in Armenia today, they should know that, if necessary, we will smash their heads at any moment. We cannot allow Armenian fascism the opportunity to raise its head again. We cannot allow Armenia to bring its army to such a state that would pose a threat to us again. If we see a potential threat, we will immediately eliminate it. Everyone should know this, both Armenia and its patrons. Today, there are growing calls for support for Yerevan in countries where the Armenian lobby is powerful. There are even absurd proposals that the Karabakh problem hasn't been fully resolved and that negotiations need to continue. Nevertheless, as the President İlham Aliyev underscored, the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict had already gone into history. Armenia signed the act of capitulation, and there is no need for mediation on this issue. Today, Azerbaijan is on the verge of implementing large-scale projects in the territories liberated from the occupation, with great promising prospects for the region, and friendly and neighboring countries will actively participate in these projects. In particular, with the opening of the Zangezur corridor, an ideal model of economic cooperation in the South Caucasus can be built. The creation of the Zangezur corridor fully meets our future national and historical interests. We're implementing the Zangezur corridor whether Armenia wants it or not. If they do, it will be easier for us to resolve. If they do not, we will resolve it by force. Just as before and during the war, I said that they must get out of our lands or we will expel them by force, and so it happened. The same will apply to the Zangezur corridor. Yerevan, on the other hand, continues to take provocative steps to evade the provisions of the Act of Surrender. Speculation around the modernization of the Armenian army and the acquisition of new modern weapons creates certain threats to the future of the region. Also, the statements of the Karabakh separatists about military training, the ongoing delivery of weapons to Armenia by illegal means should not be ignored by international structures, including the International Civil Aviation Organization. Despite the fact that such letters were sent repeatedly during the war, the International Civil Aviation Organization did not provide a response. However, we know for sure that one Armenian arms dealer, David Galustyan, while sitting in Russia, illegally acquired weapons from Russian military factories and sent them to Armenia by passenger planes. The cost of these weapons was paid by Armenian oligarchs operating in Russia, Abrahamyan and Karapetyan. It is a crime. They should be prosecuted for this. These weapons were sent to Armenia by various smuggling routes. In short, Armenian oligarchs and the diaspora abroad are trying to drag Armenia into a new war. Although it is impossible for the ethnos whose army has been dismantled and whose ideological and moral spirit has been shattered to change the realities in the region through these aids, the Armenian fascism and revanchist sentiments can lead to military escalation. Let no one doubt that this road will be closed once and for all with an iron fist.
Instead of implementing the trilateral statement, Armenia is poisoning its own population with deceitful and slanderous statements and trying to mislead the international community, said the head of the press service of the Foreign Ministry of Azerbaijan, Leyla Abdullayeva, commenting on the claim of the Armenian Foreign Ministry. As always, the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan has expressed his views quite clearly and concretely. If the Armenian Foreign Ministry wants to interpret what it hears in the way that it wants, it is an indication of their malicious intentions. Quote, "Would like to bring to the attention of those who want to interpret the views of our President that in the interview on April 20th, President of Azerbaijan spoke about the possible revanchism and threats of our territorial integrity in Armenia and said, if we identify a possible threat, we will destroy it, because it is a matter of defense, a matter of national security. This is not a threat to Armenia's territorial integrity, as claimed by the Armenian Foreign Ministry, but an indication of our determination to respond to any possible threat from Armenia to the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan within its internationally recognized borders. I would like to remind that in this interview, the head of state also said that Azerbaijan was ready to cooperate, emphasizing that despite the genocide committed by Armenia against Azerbaijanis at the state level and the destruction of our historical, cultural and religious monuments, we must look into the future. The Defense Ministry released video footage from Ulashli village of Qapalı district. Ulashli is situated in the administrative territorial unit under the same name in Qapalı district. The settlement is located on the bank of Bergushat River, at the foot of the Bergushat Ridge. In written sources of the 19th century, the name of the village is indicated as Ulashli. The village occupied by Armenia in 1993 was liberated by Azerbaijan armed forces on November 9th last year. (2,075 infections with novel coronavirus were registered in Azerbaijan. 2,480 people recovered after treatment and released home. 32 people who earlier tested positive for COVID-19 died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 305,933, with 269,965 recoveries and 4,235 deaths. The number of active infections is 31,733. To detect new infection cases over the past day, 12,679 tests and overall 3,141,335 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan, the task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That was all for today. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.